to?
Carson498. What's the worst argument?
I feel like for me, like what I remember is like where I really like blew my top was, I can't even remember exactly why we were fighting. It was when we lived together, and it was more that like shit between us was just in like rocky zone for a while.
Yeah.
All I remember is getting like so pissed at you and like literally just slamming the door, like just being like, I can't fucking handle this anymore.
Yeah.
And slamming the door and leaving.
I remember you getting mad, and I think it was in the period where I wanted to move out.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
And I think it was, and I remember you getting really mad.
Yeah.
And I think it was either about that situation or something related to that situation.
Yeah, I can't
Or
remember.
just during that period, but you got really mad.
Yeah.
But it was almost a good thing.
It was a good thing. And I remember it ending up being a good thing because I think I had never really stood up to you like that before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not really my vibe. Like, it's not, I don't feel good when I have like a tantrum like that.
Yeah.
But I think you had to resolve things for yourself. There was nothing that I could have done or that anyone else could have done to make things feel better for you.
No.
And so to live in that and to like, to know that you were going to eventually get to that place because I know you and I knew that you would get there, but you were absolutely not getting there anytime soon was like super frustrating for me, and I was trying to be sensitive to it, and there was just a moment where I was just like, I can't just keep being sensitive to this. Like, it's like hurting me and like it's like a lot of pressure, and so I just like kind of blew up and stormed out.
Yeah, which is like, I think it is a good thing.
Yeah.
And I think back to like the way that I would function back then, and like
it was very different.
No, so different.
Like,
for
so crazy.
For a lot of like years, I think back to how I would function.
You were just so much angrier then.
Yeah,
like, you really like you held so much anger.
I had so much bitterness that was about me that I pushed on other people. Okay. This is the most... should we even talk about it?
I think I have an idea of what it is. Just whatever.
Okay.
I mean, if it feels weird, just edit it out.
Okay. Is Jenny the straight friend you had a crush on? Yeah.
Oh, it's so awkward.
But we never talk about it.
I know, that's why it's awkward.
I know.
But the reason we don't talk about it is because the dark period that we were just talking about, it was because of that.
Yeah.
And it was a lot to deal with at once.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess at first a part of me was like, I just don't, and not by any means to reduce what you were feeling, because it was absolutely like super powerful, but I was in a place then and even now where like I can't even handle that kind of like when people are like, oh, I really love you. I'm like, no, you don't.
And then,
no, you really don't.
I know that that's your vibe.
Yeah, and so it's just like, it was like that on top of the fact that like you were my best friend and like we moved here together and I didn't even know that you were gay until like you came out to me, and then you were like, not only am I gay, I'm also in love with you, and I've been in love with you this entire time. And there was just a bit of like, oh, well, what is our relationship then? Because to me, we were just super close friends. Like, are we still going to be friends? Like, is this going to change our relationship? Like, what do you do with that information? Because I'm straight and you're my best friend. So, like, how do I get to keep this person as my best friend without hurting them?
Yeah.
And we lived together, and I had just started dating a guy that, like, had been... who, like, was our roommate, and that was, like, a whole confusing thing.
That's why it came out, was because I told Nick before I told Jenny.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I told Nick before I told Jenny, and then you guys got together. It feels like a lifetime. It feels like I was a different person. I mean, like, you're always you, but, like... No,
you were absolutely, like, you've transformed so much. Okay. I don't know if I have, really, but...
You 1,000%.
But I'm still,
I mean, there's always a still, like, you're never a totally different person, but it's good to recognize, like, how you evolve. It was that caused, like, the hardest moments of our friendship, probably. And you know what the reason why it happened, is because I fell in love with you before I knew I was gay. Yeah. It happened without me being aware of it. But, like, not to discount that happening, but it happened with Aaliyah and Rachel too. But the difference is I was aware that I was gay then, and I was able to catch it and stop it. So it just happened before I knew it was happening. And also, if you're a lesbian, you're gonna accidentally fall in love with your best friend. It's just gonna fucking happen.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine. Like,
but you were so kind in how you reacted that it was like, I don't know, you're just such a great friend.
I think what you were going through for, like, no matter what, like, if you were like, I'm in love with you and this is like torture, like what's going on with you and Nick and living here and blah blah blah, I was like, I can't imagine what that is like. And I also, to be fully honest, didn't fully believe you either.
Yeah, I
and
know
not
you
because
did.
Not because like I didn't believe you because like I didn't believe you.
Yeah,
it's just that I just, especially then, did not believe that anyone would feel that way about me. Yeah. It's like a wall that like is like up there, and so in a way it helps you in situations where you're like, ooh, this is so sticky and messy. But I just like, no, you can't break this surface.
No, it's not.
So you're able to like be more available for the person who clearly needs.
Well, that's the thing.
Who needs like more support.
Well, it's like a very kind, like, defense mechanism in a way, but I think that defense mechanism aided itself in us being able to, like, because it's really cool, and I think it really speaks to you and to our friendship that we're able to move forward from this really awkward moment in a friendship. This really, like, because I feel like the way that I reacted to things now, I'm not perfect now at all, but the way that I reacted to things when I was younger, even just like 4 years ago, was a lot more, not demon-like, but like, just like a lot more dark. And just a lot more just not good. Yeah.
You persevere, and it's funny how life, like, throws you a bunch of curveballs where, like, all of a sudden the roles reverse and you had to, like, support me, and, like, I don't know, life organically, like, takes this toll where one person's super low and dark and the other person's, like, maybe in a more stable position to sort of, like, carry both people. And if you can have faith that will happen, that, like, even in shitty times where you're like bummed on someone or you disagree with how they are, or, you know, they behaved in a bad way, or you don't believe in their politics, or, like, you know, whatever, it's like I feel like if you truly love someone, it's always worth it to give them a chance. Like, to not drop them, and then you'll just see what happens.
Well, that speaks to your character, and I also think it speaks to, like, real friendship. That's why we're like family, because it's like
it's like family. Well, also what I kind of like in a way respect, and obviously it's easier for me to say this, like, having distance from that time and whatever, then I think I was a bit jealous. Now I respect it, but I think at the time I was jealous of the fact that, like, you were feeling pain and you were going through stuff and you made everyone aware of it. Like, or you made, like, me aware, like, you made, like, your close friends aware of it. And I think at the time I was a little bit jealous of that, because I think I've always had this role where it's like you're just sort of like in control and you don't really have freakouts unless, like, you just boil up and have a tantrum, which is like my go-to, that's my signature move in my relationships. But I think I was a bit jealous. I was like, oh, it's like, because the show is all about you, whether it's like you're feeling bad or good. But now I kind of respect it, because what I do instead is just like, I don't talk about it, and, like, I try to hide it, and I've realized how,
like, self-destructive.
Yeah, like, how self-destructive and how dangerous it can be. Like, it really, that fucks shit up worse than just letting people know that you don't feel fucking good. Like, you know?
Yeah.
There is something to say about just being fucking honest about, like, how you feel. Whether you feel like it's grounded or not. Like, who cares? Like,
it's true. I mean, you can't help how you feel, and I think it's better for your soul to be honest about them and express them and not judge yourself for them. But I think there's a happy medium between our reactions, because I know with me, I think I like to take up space, but I have to be wary of how and when and how much space I take up, because it gets to an unhealthy point.
Life is all about balance.
Yeah.
A Libra once said.
Well, that's why I think we're good friends too, because we can be on these other sides of the extremes, and we're able to, like, communicate with each other and, like, see the other side and maybe balance each other out. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, love it. Love therapy.
Okay, let's move on. Are my cheeks getting red? I'm getting, like, nervous.
Not at all.
Okay.
Bella Whitmer. What's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you guys in one night? Okay, so we went to Brett's house. We're hanging out with this guy. This is a guy that Jenny was dating. And then this guy, this little shit disturber, Andrew Basso, comes. So he showed up. He convinced us that we were going to have a threesome.
But he wasn't going to be there.
No, he just planned it and then he left. He was there for like 45 minutes. Then we go to a party full of 9th graders. We decide to leave. We almost get into a car of drunk drivers, but we don't because we're responsible adults.
That's not true.
Oh, we got in.
We got into the car.
Oh, God.
And because I was so nervous, I was like, Brett, this is this is, because it was his friends, and I was just like, this is not, I don't feel comfortable, like, this is fucked.
Yeah.
And Brett, because he was a fucking nice guy, was like, you guys, like, this is dangerous, like, let us out right now. And they were making fun of him, and he was like, I don't care, let us out.
So then we leave, we responsibly get out of the drunk driver's car because don't drink and drive. We get to his house. The plan had already been set for the threesome. So Andrew Basso told us that first Brett and Jenny were going to hook up and have alone time. Then they were going to come get me to join for the threesome. So we were drinking this tequila. So they went upstairs, and I know, like, I'm going to have to wait like half an hour till they're done. Then it's my turn to join. So I'm drinking a mug of tequila, just straight tequila, while watching like the news. And I'm just drinking and drinking all alone watching the news. The next thing I know, it's 8 a.m. and I wake up on the couch in front of the news. And Jenny tells me the next day that they're like slapping me, trying to wake me up. But I would not wake up. No, it was 1,000% for the
I had a great night. It was a good night.
Yeah, I had a good night too.
Yeah, it was fun.
I had a restful sleep.
Yeah.
Green eggs with Spam. How is it having a gay, annoyingly funny Judge Judy as a friend?
It's great. I don't see her in that way.
Do you ever feel uncomfortable in public with me because I'm dress loudly?
No. There were moments, maybe like years ago, where I felt uncomfortable only because I didn't want any attention towards me. Mm-hmm. But never in a way where I was like, oh, I'm embarrassed because this person's like dressed like. Honestly, I don't even notice it.
Yeah. Thanks for all the fish. What's the most scandalous thing you've done together?
Going to like sketchy ass guys' basements.
That was probably the pinnacle. Hanging out in an unfinished meth addict's basement while he convulses for meth. Green shoes. Was there any point in your guys' friendship that you thought it might end?
You know what? I don't think so. I think they're obviously in that period that we were talking about. Mm-hmm. That was probably the closest. I think there was also a period, you know, not immediately after you lost your dad, but you weren't doing well and like weren't really feeling comfortable hanging out. Mm-hmm. And I think at that point I was feeling again like, oh no, is this like what's next kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. But I never thought it would end. It was more like just like, whew, we're getting like, how does this, you know, how's it gonna work?
Yeah, what's the next step? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think I ever thought it was gonna end. I think there's points where I thought maybe you didn't like me anymore. I never thought it was gonna end, but I was like, hopefully she'll start liking me again.
When was that?
I think when you were with Mitch.
When I was with Mitch?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Sun chips. Emilia, who inspires your makeup? Jenny, why do you love clouds so much? P.S. I love them too, but I want to know your perspective of clouds. First of all, sweet. Mm-hmm. Second of all, inspires my makeup. Drag queens that haven't finished their makeup. Like, drag queens 20 minutes into their makeup is the main thing that, way before they're done.
Clouds? I don't know. Literally one day I just looked up at the sky and I was like, holy shit. This is so majestic. I don't know, it made me see the world in a different way, and especially like living in a city, I felt like less isolated and less like boxed in. And then I created this Instagram, and then the Instagram was more just for me, and then once I started like cataloging all the clouds, I was like, whoa, now I can actually try to understand them.
At Cloudbusters on Instagram. What's really sweet about the cloud thing too is that like one day you just sorry, my breath smells like vomit. One day you just looked up at the sky, this thing that's always been there, but you like saw it for the first time, mm-hmm. and you like felt it, mm-hmm. and then now you capture it, you appreciate it, you can read it now. Jenny's like a palm reader, but for the sky.
I want that to be my new business card.
And then it's a picture of you like, maybe a heathen. When have you seen each other at the most vulnerable? For some reason, like I'm sure you've been more vulnerable like in later years, mm-hmm. but I do remember this moment after you had moved away and you came back for a visit and you were gonna leave the next day to go back, and we were sitting on the stoop and you were crying, and it was just such a raw. Oh, it was such a raw.
That's so dark. I don't even remember that actual moment, but like I remember that feeling, and I forgot about it until you just brought that up. I was like, oh, just like a shot in the. That was definitely the most heartbreaking time. I feel like, I don't know if it's a specific moment, but I think in general, yeah, I feel like the most vulnerable period that you were in was like right like around like the time that your dad died. It had been this fear, and you'd been like thinking about it for so long, and it didn't even manifest itself necessarily in a way where we were like sitting together and you were crying. I think that's why it was the most vulnerable and the most like heartbreaking for me as a friend, because you feel like helpless, like there's nothing you could do.
Yeah, I think it was. I think that was like the period of my life when I was like really raw, and I just didn't even know what to do about it anymore.
Yeah.
But then you come out of it, and then you grow, and then you tough, and life gets great and cool and stuff, and wow, 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 wow.
Yep.
No, I think
I feel like we're in like a late night, like like I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I very much appreciate you. I very much appreciate you doing this.
Yeah.
I very much appreciate our friendship very much.
Me too.
One day, let's be friends for the rest of our lives.
Oh my god. Yeah, let's try it out. Oh, right. That was obviously coming.